Well, hello there. Welcome to Brosé, just a couple of bros drinking rosé and talking fitness. I'm your host, Mike Garrity, the strongest comedian in the world. You heard me. And I'm here with my assistant, Dustin Nelson, doctor of Chinese medicine, kinesiologist, herbalist, strength coach, acupuncturist. Probably missed a few things in there.
Yeah, a few. Well, that's good enough.
That's all right. We're here today to help you sift through all the murky garbage that circles around this toxic swamp we call the fitness industry. And to do that, we start with some Q&A. These are cues that you guys cued at us, and then we're going to A the A's right back at you. I think that was pretty clear. Let's get going here. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, Mike.
Okay. Well, let's make it official. I forgot to have a little sip.
Yeah, I started without you. That's nice.
Ooh,
Crisp.
that's good.
Yeah.
All right. First question here, buddy. I'm what my old high school bully would call too fat to tie my own shoes. What's the fastest way to transform my body quickly? And by that, I mean quickly.
Well, the fastest way would be not to eat. It's probably... there's a lot to unpack there because the fastest way is not always the healthiest way. So what we kind of probably want to find is the intersection point between the fastest way we can drop body fat and sustain it in a healthy way. And that's, this isn't true, but there's a good gauge, which is if you're dropping a pound a week, that's probably pretty sustainable in the lifestyle.
You said it's not true.
Well, it's with most things in life, there's a lot of complexity to it. So if somebody just comes up to you and says, hey, you can drop a pound of fat per week, that's the most you can drop.
Punch them right in the face if someone ever said that.
It's not what we do. But we also will understand that that's not true. It depends on the size of the person and how much body fat we're dealing with and so on and so forth. So for a guy like you, I might say, yeah, a pound a week should be pretty easy to drop, provided we're eating at a caloric deficit and we're exercising appropriately.
What about one of these online deals where it's like, lose your fat in 60 days kind of things?
Yeah, and if you stay consistent for 60 days, and that's what it is for most people. It's not really about the crash dieting for the 60 days. It's about the fact that people can stay focused for a very short period of time and exercise consistently and eat diligently, right? And then we see those results. The problem that we have is if we go to too great an extreme and we drop and we cause issue and drop down our energy production, we eat at too much of a deficit, and we don't, and this is the key, and we don't allow ourselves to develop those lifestyle attributes into a habit, then they're not going to be sustainable. And that creates this yo-yo dieting, which is, in the end, not very productive and also can be a threat.
Should I do it?
What, drop some body fat?
Yeah, 30 days.
Yeah, I think you could probably.
Hardcore. Be good for me?
What, dropping body fat? Yeah, it'd be good for you. There's never a wrong, hey, listen, it's never a bad thing to eat better and move more.
All right.
Yeah?
There you go.
All right.
Eat better, move more, but make sure you do it in a way where you're going to, do it forever. Next question. Is vitamin C the cure that the TV tells me it is? This is an interesting one because basically, if there's anything wrong with you, buy some vitamin C powder, chug it down.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't do anything.
It does something. It's vitamin C. Listen, vitamin C is important because we don't make it. That's actually why when you hear about the human guinea pig, he was a human guinea pig.
Yeah, I often feel that way with you in our relationship.
Right. Yeah. Good. Though the reason we say that is because we have some similarities with guinea pigs in that we don't make vitamin C and they don't make vitamin C, so we have to take it. And so the general idea that we need vitamin C to support our immune function is true. There's phagocytic activity where the body actually attacks the pathogen, and that process is dependent upon vitamin C.
So that's what vitamin C is?
It's one of the roles that vitamin C will play.
Why do pirates need it?
Well, that just had to do with a lack of having citrus fruits and the potential of scurvy when you were on long expeditions where you didn't have fresh produce, because that's where we get most of our vitamin C. Now, what we've done with it in the fitness industry, and we're very, very good at this, is taking something that's pretty true and then supercharging it with marketing and then conveying the wrong idea, which is if you're otherwise already sick with a cold or flu, taking vitamin C is most likely not going to make a substantial change. It might give you a placebo effect, but it's not going to make you better. What you want to do is have a sustainable level of vitamin C all the live long day so that it reduces the likelihood you're going to get sick. But taking it, doing shots of orange juice, eating oranges and citrus fruits while you're sick is going to do very little.
Are there vitamin C over-the-counter stuff that is always like, the real popular brands, high CE, airborne, all that stuff? Does any of that stuff work? Because I've heard there's different types of vitamin C that are just garbage.
I mean, taking a vitamin C supplement for stress and keeping your levels up as an antioxidant is good just on a daily basis.
Are there good guys and bad guys?
Not about good and bad, but some of those things you mentioned, like airborne and different things, they'll also include other ingredients that can stop viral replication. And if that's what you want to do when you're sick, when you're actually sick, you ditch the vitamin C, ditch the vitamin D. That's not going to help you. We're past that point. Now you want to stop viral replication and reduce the length and severity of the illness, and you got to turn to stuff like that. And I use Chinese herbs. I use like Gan Mao Ling and stuff to help with that.
Can I buy the cheapest vitamin C? Will it help if I just take it regularly? Or do I need to get the good stuff?
Sure.
All right, that's all I wanted to know. I'm on a budget. All right, next question. I want to take, actually, real talk here, folks. I wrote this one. I want to take CLA, but the last time I said that, you told me I have to stop eating like an asshole first. So
did I say that?
Yeah. One, I have no idea what CLA is, and two, more importantly, when can I start taking it?
All right, let's unpack this. I said that to you?
Yeah. Well, you might have said something different, but that's what I heard.
Okay.
That's how I felt.
I also love the fact that you want to take something and you don't know what it is or what it does, which is most people's perspective when it comes to supplements. The reason I responded, and I don't know that I told you to stop eating like an asshole, but that does sound like something I might say, is that so CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, is an acid. It's a supplement made into a supplement form that research has suggested, and not unequivocally, but some research suggests that for individuals who take 3 grams a day of CLA, that they may experience expedited fat loss. Maybe 10 to 15% more fat loss than the control groups. That is not always the case. So there's somewhat population dependent. And the reason that I made a comment to you about not taking it until after you changed your diet is that you get it primarily in your diets through eating protein sources like beef and higher purine meats. So for people who are already eating a nutritionally tight diet with solid protein sources and vegetable sources, you're probably going to get enough of that. And what we want to always pay attention to, Mike, is that if we're going to supplement the diet, we want it to be in a hole in the diet where we're not getting enough from our food, right? That's why the diet.
I just want extra.
Well, but because extra is not going to help you. It's about the reason that people who are going to make that progress are people who are, vegiosauruses, or some people who maybe say, hey, I'm not getting enough of this because of the diet I eat, and they're not eating a great diet. But the thing is that if you replace that habit and that lifestyle with a supplement, all you're looking for is the quick fix. That's not sustainable in the long run. So I was trying to save you money and get you to do the thing that was beneficial for you in the first place. So just eat a better diet.
Right.
You're
good.
Good.
Here's what I find the most interesting about that. Because CLA stands for conjugated linoleic acid. It's a conjugation for something that has the word conjugated in it. And that's really, I think, the key takeaway here, folks, is that words are powerful. So don't tell your friends that they eat like an asshole. Next question. How reasonable is it to tell your coach, I want to lose fat and build muscle simultaneously? Everyone I've ever helped coach says this.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, I know that's the idea, but how, speaking of words being powerful, what's the word when something is a smart thing to say or ask or expect? Smart thing to expect. Could anyone expect to be able to do this? Thanks for going with me on that journey, folks, but I figured it out. Is that an acceptable thing to expect?
I think I need to get some nootropics on board for you and help that mental clarity.
Get some brain bump on board.
It depends on where you are in your training age. So for people who are newbies, they are going to put on muscle, or what we call our newbie gains, a little bit faster because they're not adapted to any stimulus. Yes, they will. And also while having that activity, often they're doing that at a lower caloric intake. So that is possible for people. It gets a little bit harder as you get going. But ultimately, I want you to think about this, Mike, is that when we talk about caloric expenditure, it's energy expenditure. So the more energy we make, the more likely we are to drop body fat. Do you know how we make more energy, where we make it? In our muscle cells. So the more muscle you build, the more fat you lose. So theoretically, it is possible to do that, but we will notice it more in people who are new to their training.
Okay. So, hey, if you don't work out now, get into it because you got the extra juice, right?
Something like that.
You got extra juice. You heard it. Dustin, I want to move on to our next segment here. This is where we learn a little bit more about my body. And folks, the only difference between my body and your body is that I have access to a legitimate expert here. So this is where I'm going to let Dustin take a peek under my hood, and you guys get to come along for the ride and hopefully learn something about yourselves. Does that sound good?
Nothing about that sounds good, Mike.
All right, well, I'm going to keep this super simple. I'm going to tell you 2 truths and a lie about what I've done to my body.
Okay.
And then you have to figure out how to help me from there. Sound good?
Sure.
All right. 1, sometimes I don't eat for 2 straight days. 2, I lift weights like a power lifter, thinking that the muscle and strength I build will make it okay that I eat pie and don't do cardio. 3, I bought and ate a tapeworm.
Okay. Yeah, and what was your first one?
That sometimes I just don't eat for 2 days.
Yeah, that absolutely tracks.
Yeah, which one do you think is the lie?
There's not a commercially traded tapeworm in the States. Anyway.
You think I'm the kind of guy that doesn't know people who could get a tapeworm?
Yeah, but you're not getting it in the States.
All
and COVID ended that for you. Yeah, you're not.
You're
getting
right.
that
I was
here.
lying about the tapeworm.
I know where you can get a tapeworm, but that's different. So you're trying to. Well, this is very common, Mike, because and this is important to talk about for you, because a lot of what happens for people when they're training is that they get disenfranchised because they're not achieving their goals. And often, if we're not hitting a target, it's because we've pointed our weapon. We've thrown the dart at the wrong board.
What do you think my target is when I?
You're trying to change your body composition.
That's right. Wouldn't have been easier if I just said that.
Yeah, but we'll unpack why it's hard for you to ask for help. There you go. For people who starve themselves, it feels like that's the move. But in reality, we're taking ourselves further away because we're down-regulating our energy production.
It's fasting, though.
It is fasting, and we can do that for a period of time. But the deal is, and this is the key takeaway for you on this, is that there's different types of training stimuli, and all we do with training is create a stimulus to create a response. So if what you want to do is train in a way that's going to increase your ability to lift a load like a power lifter, there's a way to do that. If what you want to do is train to get more bigger and have bigger muscles, there's a way to do that. And if what you want to do is get more smaller and drop body fat, there's a way to do that. But they're not all the same, and they all need to be exercised differently and fed differently. And it's only once you've identified which of those you are going after, the body comp change, and you train it and feed it appropriately, that you get the result. You're feeding it in a similar way for fat loss, but you're training it like a power lifter, and that's going to create frustration. So we need to address that for you.
So don't lift like a power lifter if I want to have a smaller belly?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also,
well, why don't you just say that from the beginning?
Well, why don't you ask the question?
I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions right now because it's time for the lightning round, baby. This is where we cram as many questions as we can into a small period of time just so we have a bunch of cool stuff to put on social media. Boom. Functional strength training. Good, bad, or good sometimes?
Everything's functional.
All right, next question. Tabata protocol, true or false?
True or false? It's a great protocol, but no one does it. You don't do it.
Sounds like it's
fans.
true. Next question. Is NAD plus something that aging people should take? Also, am I saying that right?
Yeah, NAD, NADH, but it's not something that research shows you can't supplement it.
Okay. Do you like my haircut?
I love it. It actually looks really good on you.
Hey, and that's Brosé. We've been a couple of bros drinking rosé and talking fitness. I'm Mikey G here with Dr. D. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to get your bros spayed and neutered.
Cheers.
It's important.